Hello and welcome to the Cruise Files. I'm Cheryl Baker, and in this programme we aim to inspire and educate about the wonderful world of cruise holidays. In this edition I'm joined by a very special guest from Princess Cruises who I'm sure you'll recognise. He was on the recent TV series The Cruise. Cameras followed Scott Grayson as the hotel engineer on board Regal Princess, and since then he's become somewhat of a national heartthrob, and he's here now to share his experience of life in front of the cameras as well as tales of life on board ship. Scott.
Hello.
You heartthrob, you.
I don't think I'm a heartthrob.
But it all started with the Royal Navy, apparently.
It did, yeah. Since I left school, I always wanted to travel, and like I said, my brother was he was in the RAF, and he kind of pushed me towards that door to join the forces and get around the world, get a bit of life experience.
And you did it for 7 years?
Yeah, it was just under 7 years, yeah. And after that, I hadn't planned on going back to sea. But
how did it happen then? Going from the Navy for 7 years and going into cruise ships?
I got a call from Princess Cruises shortly before Christmas, and I was doing Christmas duties for the Royal Navy because it was my last year, and I wanted to let a few of the guys go home and see their little cherubs for Christmas. And long story short, I went down to Southampton, couldn't turn down the job. It was too good to be true, and that was me back at sea.
So you're a hotel engineer?
Yeah.
What's that mean? You're on a ship. How is it a hotel engineer?
Well, I look after the hotel.
Oh, OK.
All the services, the water, the sanitary, all the cabins, the
So
pools.
they regard that, they don't call it cruise ship, they call it like, it's the hotel,
yeah,
because that's where people are staying.
Yeah, the hotel service engineer. So
right.
I look after everything front of house, pretty much. Everything you see and touch. The galleys, the bars, the spa, the pools.
You're really important.
I am. That's why I get 3 stripes.
You got 3 stripes?
Yeah, like Commander Bond.
Wow. Wow. Were you surprised at the reaction that you had from the TV audience?
Yeah, it exceeded a lot of expectations, I think, when it came out on TV. And it's a funny story because of the time difference of where I was at the time. I completely forgot it was the first show had aired, and I turned my phone off and it literally vibrated off the table. I had like 100 notifications. I was like, what's going on? And yeah, I was like, oh God, yeah.
You must have thousands and thousands of Twitter followers now.
Well, I just started a new account, so they're slowly rising, slowly rising. But yeah, it's a massive, massive honour, and it's overwhelming sometimes, but it's really nice.
So what was your first Princess cruise ship then?
First one was the Sapphire. Yeah, I was on the Sapphire in Asia season, which was completely a culture shock for me because I'd not been at that part of the world.
Yeah.
So to be immersed in that culture on a first contract whilst I'm trying to kind of learn the ship and learn the job was a massive pressure, but I loved every minute of it. Brilliant.
So you went from the Sapphire, your next ship was the Regal?
No, I did the Star and the Golden after that, and I did like America, Mexico, and places like that, and then I went to the Regal. And
you said you wanted to travel. You've travelled.
Yeah, I have. I think the only place I haven't been yet is Australia, and that's on my hit list. So
you've been on the 4 Princess ships. Mm-hmm. How do they compare?
Size. They just seem to be getting bigger and bigger.
So
bigger and better. Yeah.
Bigger and better.
Yeah.
They can't build the ships fast enough, can they? Because cruising is becoming so popular.
It's exploding.
Yeah.
Really, really is expanding. Yeah.
Do you know? Is it an international explosion or is it particularly a UK one?
No, I think it's definitely international. China at the moment have got a lot of. They've got basically a keen eye. They're really wanting to expand and explore more the cruising kind of circuit now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ships heading that way. So in a couple of years you'll see a massive difference out in China in regards with cruising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go to the programme, the cruise.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you've said about how surprised you were at the reaction you've had from the audience, but how did you feel about actually making the programme?
Making it was all...
the series, I should say.
It was surreal because I'd never kind of partaken in anything like it before, and I'd never really been in front of a camera. So when I joined the Regal, I'd literally been on board 3 hours, and then there was a press release form kind of pushed in my face, and they said, oh, this is what we want to do. Do you want to be part of it? And I said, yeah, go on then. It'll be a laugh. And I just literally did my job, and I was just myself, and they literally just caught it like a documentary.
Yeah.
And for me, just to kind of see, I preferred it being being out of it and watching the other guys getting shot, because
Yeah,
for me it was
right.
amazing, like to see how they put everything together. But yeah, it was really good.
What do you think defined who were going to be the stars of the show?
They must have filmed thousands of hours of footage, and you just, whatever they deem interesting, I think, and what the audience want to see, they've used, and I think they've done an amazing job. So
Yeah.
it all depends on the viewers, really.
And the passengers, from their point of view, the camera crew were on the ship for how long?
About 2-3 months, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did that affect the actual cruises, from a crew point of view and from a passenger point of view?
I don't think it changed. I don't think it affected them that much. We just we carried on and did our day-to-day routines, and they caught it on footage. I think for the passengers, the most travelled passengers, they were wanting to get their name known, that they'd been working, basically cruising with Princess, for a very long time. So for them, I think it was a massive honour, and I think for the crew, it was a massive honour.
So you were known as Mr. Fix-It.
Yeah.
What's the most unusual thing you've had to fix?
The most unusual thing I've had to fix?
Or surprising thing?
Probably a coffee machine. There's a coffee machine in one of the officers' cafeteria that everybody uses, because there's predominantly Italians on board, so they like a good double espresso, you see.
What, the crew are predominantly?
The officers.
The officers are Italian,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And that broke down one morning, and I think I got about 10 pages on my pager. Something like, I thought, oh God, it's an emergency. No, the coffee machine's broke. I was like, all right, I'll get on that straight away then.
Do you keep in touch with your old mates from the Navy?
I do, yeah. Just, little messages here and there on Facebook.
I betcha. I bet they've been ribbing you something terrible.
They have, yeah. they have. Because I'd kept it quite quiet. And then everybody was like, what's he doing on my TV? Everybody was messaging me, what you doing now? Like, things are looking great. Your life looks like it's, onwards and upwards.
Oh, great.
So, but yeah, they're all rooting for me. So it's nice to hear from them, because I know a lot of them are still on, the other side of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to know they're there.
Would you want to go back to those days, the Royal Navy days?
I'd like to go on a ship, I think. I'd like to just see the ship and see what I used to work with, and kind of see the guys that I used to work with. Because the transition from there to Princess everything was just on a larger scale. Everything was a lot more modern, and you had to adapt, really.
Now, Timothy and Herbert.
Yeah.
How did you get on with those?
Brilliant, yeah. Funnily enough, when they were doing the show, I worked with Herbert quite often, because he was the front desk supervisor. So he's kind of like the front line of defence, that if any of the passengers had any problems, like lost luggage, which in the show he manages to find, and he's the superhero in that episode. So I used to work with him quite often on if there was any technical problems. I used to speak with him quite often. And Timothy, he's just outrageous, isn't he? You can't help but love him.
Do you love the fact that, you must be recognised? Do you enjoy that?
I've not been recognised that much, every now and then, but it's a nice feeling. It is a nice feeling for people to go out of the way and come and say hello, and that they've watched the show and they thought it was great. It is a nice feeling, yeah.
So if the series is recommissioned, would you like to do it again?
Definitely.
You'd like to be back involved?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah? Fingers crossed.
So it's Princess Cruises' latest ship.
Yep.
She looks absolutely magnificent on the television, doesn't she?
She does.
That's on the telly. In real life, from your point of view?
No, in real life it is. That is like it is.
Yeah?
Honestly, yeah. It is absolutely flawless, that ship. It's really nice.
How about presumably passengers will all love it, but how about from a crew member's point of view?
For me, because I'm basically maintaining that whole ship, for me it's a lot of work. It's a lot of real estate, if you like, to kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah.
So I tend to manage a group of guys, around about 25, 30 people, and you've got to keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
It's like a clock, and you need to keep on everything.
Can you use the same facilities as the passengers, or is it us and them?
For me, I can. Yeah. As the ranks go up, you kind of get more perks, if you like. So you can, and obviously you have to be in uniform. You can use the areas that the passengers use. So I like to use the gym. I can use the gym for free. So it's a nice little perk for me, definitely. And the food, obviously.
So for people who don't have stripes, have they got their own facilities?
They have their own areas, in the crew areas, yeah.
So compare this ship to your first ship.
The Sapphire was, I think, about 12 years old when I joined her, so potentially there was a few problems starting to occur, and there was a lot of kind of work prepping for dry docks. So every 2-3 years the ship will do a dry dock, which is basically just maintenance, you know, paint and things you can't do in service because they might affect the passengers cruising. So when I was on the Sapphire, it was a lot of kind of different work. So I was prepping for a dry dock in Singapore, I believe it was. But on the Regal, everything was nice and new. But with that, the standard is very high. You've got to keep it looking new, which in that way brings a whole different ball game of responsibilities.
How new is it? How old is the Regal?
It'll be 2 years this May.
Okay.
2-year-old this May.
So it's still a baby.
Still a baby.
All right. Well, Scott, don't go anywhere.
No.
We're going to be talking to Scott some more after this break. Hello and welcome back to the Cruise Files. If you've just joined us, we're in conversation with Scott Grayson, who you'll know from the recent ITV series, The Cruise. Now, Scott.
Yes.
Not only have you been on the cruise and you've been working for Princess for however long. How long, by the way?
It's just over 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, beginning of 2014, I started working with the company.
But you were in the Royal Navy before, so you've done the world.
I have.
You must have favourite destinations.
Mexico is probably one of them.
Why?
I did my first skydive in Mexico.
Oh, skydiving! I've skydived. I broke my ankle when I skydived.
No way. So you've had a bad experience then? Oh, I loved mine. I landed on a beach and there was a Corona there waiting for me. So it was brilliant for me. It was. I'd definitely do it again. Definitely.
Mexico or skydiving or both?
Both. I think both.
Do you know, if anyone said to me, I'm thinking of going skydiving, I'd say, don't do it.
Yeah?
Treasure your limbs.
But no, another one, probably the Caribbean, where I've just come back from. There's a place called Turk there, which is amazing. You literally step off the gangway and you're on the beach. It's fantastic and it's so tranquil. I've
never been there. I've done really the Caribbean and I've never done Grand Turk.
Really nice, yeah.
Have you done places like Cuba and the bigger islands?
I've not done Cuba, no. I've done most of America, the South America, Central America. I've done a lot of Europe, Canada, and a little bit of China. I want to try and get more Far East. I want to do like places like Bali, you know, Indonesia, like Australia, New Zealand. I think that would be really nice.
So that's on your bucket list.
Yeah, I think that's the last place that, and Alaska, because that looks really picturesque. They're the last two kind of areas that I want to do.
Have you seen the Northern Lights?
I haven't. No, I want to do Iceland for that.
Have you seen Wales?
I've seen Wales.
I don't mean Wales the country. Killer whales, yeah.
Yeah, killer whales, yeah. I seen a pod actually when I was in the Navy travelling to Nova Scotia. I seen a pod just by coincidence that I was on the open deck. And
a pod is what?
It's like a group of them, yeah, right. About 4 or 5 of them. But that was really nice to see them like out in the wild, you know. So
tell me about the ship, the Regal that you're on at the moment.
Yeah.
It's the biggest in the fleet.
It's the biggest and the newest, yeah.
How do they stay afloat? I mean, I've been a passenger so many times, and you look at these ships and they're so enormous.
Yeah. Well, first, I think the best thing is not to have any holes in to start with, and then that'll keep.
That helps, yeah.
Yeah, but it's mainly just water displacement and buoyancy. So obviously the air's inside, and the water displacement of the hull of the ship keeps it afloat.
As a passenger on a ship,
yeah,
I brush my teeth and I think, is this water safe?
Really? Yeah.
How do you, and what happens when you flush the loo? As the hotel engineer, you must know all these things. Do you keep everything and then give big containers of
Yeah, everything's stored in massive containers. Everything, and then it's treated and disposed of.
Oh, okay.
And it's we're like a massive.
So you don't flush the loo and it comes straight out into the sea?
Yeah, we're just a massive environmental friendly. You know, we generate our own water. Anything we use gets returned to the sea, and it's all safe and clean. And we're very renewable.
Do you cater for international passengers, or are they mainly British?
International.
International.
Yeah.
So food-wise, do you have specific food like the Brits love the Great British fry up in the morning? And
well, we do every time we do a turnaround. So when we've done like one cruise, the passengers disembark, we'll tend to do our storage, and everything's brought on fresh. Everything's brought on fresh. We make everything. All the desserts are fresh, handmade on board.
And you get everything from the port that you've just left?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it depends on where you are in the world, I think, for the demographic that you get on board. I think if you're more in the Mediterranean, you'll tend to get more Brits. If you're out around Hawaii, Mexico, you tend to get more Americans. So it depends where you are. But the variety of food on board, you can't fault it. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, there's everything on board. And they tend to do themed nights as well.
Oh, nice.
So if you've got an acquired taste for, I don't know, sushi or Mexican, they'll have everything.
Do you have black tie nights?
We do.
I do like dressing up posh.
We do have a formal night, yeah. It's nice. Free champagne, you know. It's a good excuse just to go.
So going back to your job and what you do as hotel engineer, are you responsible for, say, filling the swimming pools and stuff like that?
Yep, I am.
How many pools have you got on the Regal?
We have the crew pool. We have
Very
the lap
important.
pool. That's one. It's a bit longer, so you can get some swimming laps.
Oh, I
in.
see, that kind of lap, swimming laps.
So we have.
I thought
crew.
it only came up to your laps.
No. The plunge pool, which the kids tend to use. Then we have the spa pool, which is down on deck 5. That's inside, it's very nice. And then we have. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Oh no, we have a terrace pool as well on the Regal, which the Royal doesn't have.
Of course you do.
So we have 4.
How many metric gallons, tons of water?
The biggest one's the lap, and that's 100. That's 100 cubes, which is 100,000 litres.
Blimey.
It's a lot of water, isn't it?
Yeah. And you have to look after all this. You have to maintain the pools.
I have to treat all the water and make sure all the pools and jacuzzis are within the parameters, so it's safe for the passengers.
What's the silliest question you've been asked about your job?
Probably how a ship floats. No. So someone asked me about my job, and then asked me if I always worked on ships, and I said yes, because I'm the ship's hotel engineer. Because they thought I'd do ships and then go hotels.
Well, that's the confusion, you see.
Yeah.
The word hotel. You think a hotel stands on solid ground.
Yeah.
I don't think of it as a floating ship.
Yeah, that's true. I've had another one as well that is funny, actually. Because the ship was so full, one passenger asked us, "So where do you and all the crew go?" I said, "Oh, every night a helicopter comes and picks us up and flies us to port." So the next night she complained that the helicopter was keeping her awake. It just doesn't exist.
Well, this is brilliant. I love talking to you. I love talking to you. So I want to be in your fan club.
Join me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter.
I'm going to do that.
I'll follow you back.
I hope you haven't got more than me. I bet you have.
No, I bet I don't.
When are you going back on board?
23rd of May.
Okay.
23rd of May, I'll be back.
So do you have a period like 3 months off and then you go back on for 9 months, or what's it?
Yeah, I tend to do around 3 or 4 months on a contract. I've just done 5, so it can vary depending on what the ship's doing, or if you can get a relief, or whatever the cause. And you try and get 2 months off. Yeah. That's your downtime. Yeah. So I'm on leave now.
Do you getting personal now? Do you have family
on board?
No. Not at home?
No, I'm single.
You're single?
I'm a single man.
Do you hear that, girls? He's single. But that would make it difficult, I suppose, or difficult maybe for the people that you leave at home, for people that have wives, husbands, partners, families.
Definitely, yeah. There is a lot of people on board that do have families at home, and especially when the kids are at a younger age, they try and bring them on board because they don't have to go to school or anything. So they can come on board with them and stay on board for a month or 2, which makes it easier. But I think as they grow older and they've got to be at home and they've got to go to education, schools and stuff, I think the distance can get quite troubling for some people.
But when you're a passenger, you see the crew and you think what a lovely life they lead. But it is hard. It's because you do have to leave home and family and everything, and go off and look after other people. So, because some of the staff are on for sort of 9 months at a time, aren't they? Yeah, it is long. I don't think I could do 9 months. No. I've got to be honest. No. Do you see this as a long-term thing for you? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you love it. It's fantastic working on the cruise ships. It's free food, free gym, free accommodation. Obviously, I make the water myself, so I don't have to. So you can trust it. Yeah, when you first started on the Sapphire, did you have immediately 3 stripes, or have you built up to 3 stripes? Yeah, I joined the company as a 3-stripe. Yeah. So is there? Can you go above that?
I could, yeah. I'd have to do kind of a side step, and then I'd have to do kind of watchkeeping and kind of work with predominantly more the engines and propulsion, and then I'd go up from there again.
To where, captain?
It'd be a chief engineer.
Okay, okay. So see, I was saying, oh, captain, as a joke and thinking you'll laugh at me, but you took that quite seriously.
No, but well, because there's two departments. You have the engineering department and then the deck department.
The driver.
Which, yeah. Yeah, but there's only 3-4 stripes, which would be the hotel general manager, which was Turk in the show, the captain, and then the chief engineer. So they're the three top people. I
was told by a captain,
yeah,
on another ship, that the hotel manager is the most important person on the ship.
Well, I've got to liaise with him obviously quite often on the technical side, but yeah, he runs the whole show, front of house.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything from a passenger point of view, the buck stops with the hotel manager.
Yeah.
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 And so where does your buck stop?
My buck stops. I'm lucky because I can kind of float around all the departments because they need me. Otherwise, I turn off their shower.
Is there ever a day when you have a day off because nothing's going on and no one needs you?
No. I wish, but no. I'm
do you
busy.
have a day off, or do you work every day?
We try and be flexible. We try and have our lunch breaks, and we try and go ashore and just kind of relax, do a bit of shopping, or lie on the beach, or try and get a little bit of normality. But mainly, yeah, you're working 7 days a week. So when you're on contract, that's you.
It's hard work. It's a long job, hard work, but you absolutely love it.
I love it, yeah. Well, you get a nice 2 months off, you see, which I like. I'm used to it now.
But what do you do in your 2 months? Go on a cruise?
Well, I do like to do a little cruise at the end of my contract. I'll stay on for a few days to relax. Yeah, I'm not in a rush to go on. Well, I didn't bring the weather with me, you see. I was trying.
Well, Scott, it's been lovely. We're joyous to talk to you. Really good fun. Really good fun. Thanks to Scott Grayson, and thank you for watching, and see you again next time with more from the Cruise Files.